would you have me do?
What would you have me do? The things I need to get done to manage my own life?
Hello and good morning.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige.
And 2 seconds before the show started, not even before we started running the opening.
No, during the opening.
But during the opening, right before we went live, we looked at each other and went, is the soundboard on? Did we turn on the audio for the show?
Only one way to find out, and we did.
We did, because we're professionals.
We are.
My phone is on silent for the show because we're professionals.
Consummate professionals. Hey, everybody.
Be cool.
Be cool. But also, chat's real hype this morning.
Chat is real hype this morning.
Moving.
Somebody in chat said French fries, and I 100% agree.
Facts.
I 100% agree. But also, somebody mentioned, I think, the Muscle Girl bar in Japan.
Yeah.
I really want to go to the Muscle Girl bar in Japan.
Me too, Anthony. Me too.
They arm wrestle you.
Yeah, I know.
If you win, you get something, but you never do. You never win.
I would argue no matter what, you get something out of it.
That's true. That's 100% true.
I'd love to arm wrestle a Muscle Girl in Japan, outside of Japan.
Listen,
in any bar.
We're looking, honestly, to just hire a muscle girl.
Just for arm wrestling.
Just for arm wrestling around the office. Hit us up.
Hey, Anthony.
Hey, Saige, I want to real quick just say we got a generous donation here to start off the show. And I want to say we, of course, mention all donations, subscriptions, things like that. At the end of the show, we do a long, big roll call. What's going on, Saige?
You may remember my deep obsession with a very particular interview with James Marsters of ET Canada.
The bloody face interview.
The bloody face interview. Now, I don't know if we talked about it on It's Too Early.
I think we did. So the deal was James Marsters was getting interviewed by Entertainment Tonight, but like Canada Entertainment Tonight. He was at some convention. And they were doing a Zoom interview, and he was just bleeding from the face. So
this was at Fan Expo in Canada. Now, if it was just like this, I would be like, oh, man's just like got a little cut on his face. Yeah. We don't have to acknowledge that.
Listen, it happens. I've got one on my lip right now. He's got one on his cheek.
For context, James Marsters, of course, the love of my life, Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, I was going to say Brainiac from Smallville, which is what everybody remembers him as, is Brainiac from Smallville.
The problem in this, again, maybe he just nicked himself shaving. No big deal. The problem is, this is an edited interview, okay? And the problem is that he is actively bleeding.
Yeah, it keeps getting worse.
It's pouring down his face, and he doesn't fix it.
He doesn't touch it.
And nobody tells him. Look at him in that last shot. Look how long the blood drip has gotten.
Did he fight a dog before this interview?
He has a bruise on his forehead too. It actively looks like he just got into a fist fight in Canada before his ET interview.
Nobody says a thing.
So it's wild to me that nobody says anything to him.
The interviewer isn't like, hey man, do you want to take a minute?
Like again, it's not live.
It's not live. It's
not live. You could just take a minute. But no one fucking says anything to him. And then mysteriously, like a shot later, he's cleaned it up. Okay.
Right. So obviously they stopped down and told him to wipe his face off.
Like, why don't they be like, hey, let's take that last question again. You had blood pouring down your face, my friend.
Do you want to put a little something there?
Now, that is enough to drive me mad. Anthony.
Right. And this happened, when was this? This was months ago.
This was 1 year ago.
This was a year ago. It's the anniversary of the bloody Marsters.
Now, I'm reminded of this because I left a comment on this video and today someone replied to my comment.
Well, and I remember you were the first video to be like, hey, are we just not going to talk about his face?
No, Anthony. I am the only commenter to say so. I am not just the first. I am the only. So
Still?
Immediately, yes. So immediately I scroll down, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. Everyone in the comments is going to be like, hey, James Marsters, you good dog? And not one person. Okay? These comments, I didn't like the musical episode, question mark. He looks the same. Heart's Kiss says, I almost put myself laughing at the juggling chainsaws thing. And then there's my comment, which I've thumbsed up. It says, hey man, why are you bleeding? And somebody said he consumed too much blood and began to leak. And that was the reply that I got this morning, but it's the first reply. Now, the reason that I commented was not just because I'm like, hey, I want to know, but also because I was curious. I was like, maybe people are commenting about it and they're deleting it.
Yeah.
To be polite to James Marsters.
Fair.
Which I suppose my comment might not be polite to James Marsters.
How many views? How many views does the video have?
It has 3,600 views.
Okay, so no, they're not deleting comments. People just haven't seen this video.
But like 3,000 people, 3,600 people watched this video.
Yeah, and
didn't comment why James Marsters was bleeding from the face.
4 comments seems about right, but it does seem weird that not one of them was like, "Hey, is he okay?"
That's what I'm saying. And people are commenting on other things. It's not like they're all spam comments. People being like, I didn't like the musical song. Honestly, some of the songs were cringy, which first of all, worst take. So bad, so incorrect. The musical episode is an iconic piece of media. It's incredibly important and every song is perfect. And I will not be hearing otherwise. He looks the same.
Well, number one, no, he doesn't. And number 2, he's also bleeding.
Maybe they mean because he often had blood on his face.
He looks just like he did after he ate somebody on the hit television series Baphomet the Vampire Lady. Now listen, so I thought when you were bringing this up, I thought there was a new development. We found out something about James Marsters.
No, it's been a year, and I'm still losing my mind that nobody is talking about this.
So when we said hot new clue, it's not about the James Marsters case. The title of this episode says hot new clue, but we want you to know it's not about the James Marsters case. This is about a totally different case.
I got the notification on YouTube, and I so rarely leave a comment on things. So I was like, what the hell is this notification? And it brought me back.
Yeah, I believe that.
It brought me right back to it.
Listen, that's not the clue.
That's not the clue. We can talk about the clue.
Here's the hot new clue that we have. The hot new clue that we have is actually a new edition of the board game Clue.
And it's actually hot.
People are thirst posting over the characters on the cover of this new version of Clue, and I can see why. I immediately can see why.
I mean, come on now. Look we're just gonna start from left to right here.
Professor Plum can get it. Mr. Green can get it. Miss White?
Chef White.
Miss White is definitely causing a lot of panic right now.
Chef White.
I mean, yes. Yes to all of it.
And then, in my opinion, the star of the show,
Colonel Mustard.
No!
Miss Scarlet.
How dare you make this about that man? Miss Scarlet.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. Even like...
And Colonel Mustard, yes.
Even Mr. Body is like in the back doing like the hot guy checking his cufflinks.
Yeah.
The first thing they tell you to do to look cool in a photo, if you're a guy in a suit, if you don't know what to do, is like just do the checking your cufflinks. Like, ooh, I know what presentation is. Don't you worry.
I'll start doing that when not wearing suits.
Just check the cuffs of my sweatshirt. We got we have Wolfbro87 in the live studio audience saying, I'm ace, and even I feel something looking at Chef White. And it's true.
Yeah, Chef White's really doing something for everyone.
We have a lot of tweets here. Christian Hoffer says, I look forward to a generation of kids pointing to the new Chef White as their sexual awakening, which, yes. Chef White in the bedroom, accidental asphyxiation, parentheses, I'm the victim. Everyone in Clue did it with each other in the library and in the foyer and in the kitchen. It was nasty. Least believable part of the new Clue narrative is that there would ever be this many tops at a single event.
No.
Now that's true.
No, that's something. Now
Look
you
at all
got us
that.
with that one.
Look at all that. Look at all that laid back, intense energy.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
Look at that oh ho ho energy that you're getting from everyone.
New Clue characters make it look like an adult online dating sim game.
Yeah, how come the new box of Clue looks like episodes? It looks like the hit app Episodes.
I hope they release an Episodes Clue edition. I'll re-download the app.
A lot of people in the live studio audience saying the thing that we immediately thought, which is they're gonna do a dating sim, right? A murder dating sim.
No.
They have to.
No.
Parker Brothers, Hasbro, what's up? Give us a ring. We know what to do here. The answer is a dating / detective sim.
We know what to do. The answer is Chef White.
Hot new clues, everybody.
Hot new clue.
Hot new clue.
You might have been confused by what that title meant. It meant hot new clue.
And then hot new clue. This, I mean, honestly, we know what they're doing. Their families already own Clue. They've owned Clue for as long as they've been around.
Sure, but like I don't own Clue.
Exactly. And
I'm the target demographic for this Clue.
it's us. We're the target demo. They want us to just buy this set of Clue and put it on the wall.
Now, Flying Queso, a moderator here, just said something absolutely wild in our chat.
Hey, Flying Queso, ban yourself.
Said if the lesser colonel has a dating sim, come on. Now
you're referring. You can't.
I have to believe that you are not. I'm going to have to just for the sake of.
There's no way you could.
For the sake of my own. For the sake of like being able to have
Certainly
like, a healthy
not.
working relationship with you, Queso. So you are not talking about Colonel Sanders in the hit dating sim. I love you, Colonel Sanders.
Or the Lifetime original picture. I love you, Colonel Sanders.
I'm just simply going to have to believe.
Starring Mario Lopez.
That's not what you meant.
Certainly not. There were 8 colonels in the last live action ad campaign. You weren't into one of them?
The dating sim was debatably one of the best dating sims I've ever played.
Oh, I wouldn't even say debatably. I would say that
one of the best dating sims.
I would say that they hired the right team and put the right work into the Colonel Sanders dating sim. They knew exactly how to make it good.
It's a perfect game. Colonel Sanders is perfect.
Whoa, we've got a mod uprising on our hands, and mods, I need you all to ban each other. Queso, I need you to ban Alonzo. Alonzo, I need you to ban Queso. I need you to count down.
Queso will do it.
I need you to count down from 3 and hit enter at the same time. Please discuss in the back channels how you're going to do that. Thank you. Anyway, hot new clue.
Hot new clue. Everybody, there's lots of hot new stuff. We're finally into that week of the year where the news starts coming back. One of the biggest pieces of news from the end of last week or over the weekend was that the Wednesday series was renewed for a season 2.
Which was certainly a foregone conclusion. It's the second highest viewed series of all time on Netflix. And I personally believe it's going to become number 1.
Yeah, probably.
There are a couple factors to it. Number 1 is Wednesday is just hitting all the right buttons for the teens. They love it. Number 2 is just the growth of Netflix as a place to watch original series over the last few years.
Yeah.
It's just becoming, and number 3 is the Cramps.
Number 3 is always the Cramps. Anthony, I went to a goth club the other night.
Number 4 is Fred Armisen.
I went to a goth club the other night.
Shock.
I know. Shocking. Surprise. A friend of mine was doing a set, went to the goth club, and it was fucking packed. It was absolutely filled. So I was like, I'm not going to be here long. I'm going to hang outside for a little bit. And I walked by somebody who is just one of those people that's like a fixture of the LA club scene. Like you'll never see him anywhere else. But like, he's just there at every club every time. And he walks by and he was just like, Wednesday's been a hit. It'll probably die down in a few weeks, and keeps going.
That's a fair assessment.
It was wild. It was absolutely wild.
I remember when I was a youth sneaking into clubs and everybody was like, this Nine Inch Nails Marilyn Manson thing will pass, and then goths will be goths again. The goths just things are cyclical, is what we're saying. And now it's goth time again. What birthed Hot Topic will rebirth Hot Topic again. Like a dark phoenix.
While we are in like TV movie news, we have to talk a little bit about M3gan.
We have to talk about M3gan.
We're only going to talk about it a little bit because Anthony has not yet seen M3gan.
I didn't see it. I want to see it. I'm hearing some very polarizing things about M3gan. No spoilers.
No spoilers. It's so hard for me to not say anything about this movie. I'm usually pretty good at being like, yeah, we just won't talk about it.
What I need to know,
a real hard time not talking about.
What I need to know is, did good James Wan show up, or did malignant James Wan show up?
What do you think, Anthony?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Definitively, undoubtedly, malignant James Wan. Because good James Wan is just a director. Malignant James Wan is a writer. James Wan wrote this one. I double checked it. James Wan wrote M3gan and Malignant, and he did not write The Conjuring.
Now, when we say bad James Wan, when we say malignant James Wan, there are a lot of things in Malignant that I laughed all the way through. I think Malignant as an unintentional comedy was brilliant. There are parts of Malignant that were supposed to be funny that I did not laugh at. There are parts of Malignant that were supposed to be the creepy parts that I was hooting and a hollering.
Here's what I'll say. James Wan fucking sucks at writing women.
Now, that was what I was coming to is James Wan, I think in his real life, allegedly, this is just my opinion, James Wan in his personal life may not have healthy opinions about women and or children. And what I mean is, like, of course, this is a movie about a murder doll going after children. We understand. But what I'm saying,
it's not by the trailer. You don't think it's going after children.
But what I'm saying,
murder doll,
sure,
it's protecting a child.
But there's that scene in the trailer where like there are kids that are like not being cool to M3gan, and you're like, ooh, we know what's gonna happen. We know what could potentially happen here, and I don't mind. Like, listen, if that's the story, that's the story. But there are things that James Wan does that are, I mean, in all honesty, the closest analog I can think of. I will do some minor spoilers for Malignant, and also a minor content warning.
The domestic violence scene in Malignant is egregious, disgusting, unnecessary, cheap, and poor writing. So the way I would describe it is early video game writing when video games wanted to show that they could be for grown-ups. James Wan threw that scene into Malignant because he was like, oh, this will make people feel sympathy for the main character lady. It's like, yeah, but you can do that just through making her a good character. He refuses to actually write a woman.
You don't have to. And that scene was way more, like, it didn't need to be as graphic as it was.
No, absolutely the fuck not.
It didn't even need to be there. It could have been just mentioned. This is not a guy who spends a lot of time explaining or showing things. This is a guy who just moves through stuff. But he took his time on that scene.
Right. So here's what I'll say. Everybody was like, okay, well, did you like it or did you not like it? Personally, I didn't like it at all. I actually almost left the theater because the movie made me really uncomfortable. And I watch so much horror. Like, I watch so many horror movies, so it's not like wow, it was just too scary. I just think it was really, really poorly done.
Keep in mind, this is two people who very much really loved Barbarian this year.
Oh my God, I loved Barbarian. I think Barbarian was the greatest movie released this year.
So,
and if people were like, it was good like a 90s horror film, Scream 5 was good like a 90s slasher flick. Scream 5 was.
Yeah, so if we can like Barbarian, if we can like a lot of classic horror stuff.
Victor said Malignant or Megan. The domestic violence scene was in Malignant, which we were referencing because that's also a James Wan film and also one of his like personal project James Wan films.
Yeah.
So what I didn't like was either, but I'm talking about Megan.
Right. So if we can like Barbarian and a lot of these classic horror films, then you know that if something makes sense within the context of the film, even the whole idea of horror, and it's particularly violent horror or body horror, is to show you things that are going to scare you, show you things that are disturbing. But it needs to be done in the right way, and it needs to be done with a reason. And sometimes Jimmy W. does not worry too much about that.
Now, what's interesting about this is the reason that we're talking about it is not just because we saw it this week. Now, I'd love to do a deep dive into it on the Patreon, like a full fucking review on the Patreon on Friday.
I'm seeing it on Wednesday, so we can do that.
We can do that. But the reason this is in the news particularly is because there is already reportedly a sequel in development, which for those who saw it, that's okay, I guess expected. They did that, but of course. But this is the other thing. The other half of this gets me. They're talking about releasing a even gorier cut.
Right. So there were interviews this week with Deadline where they talked about the original body count and the original things that happened in M3gan that they had to cut. And this is not uncommon for horror films, you know, the unrated version, the director's version, the even gorier version. But according to what you're saying, like maybe we don't want more of this.
Okay, here's the thing. It wasn't a super gory movie. It wasn't. It was just a really bad movie. Like it really wasn't a super gory movie, but the places in which they chose to inflict their violence, I fundamentally disagree with. And I think those have a lot of opinions when it could have had very different opinions. Continually, there were opportunities for M3gan to take a stance on something as a movie and be like, right, we're all in on this together and we all agree that this is bad. And they were like, I don't think this is bad, actually. No. I think I'm okay with this. So I don't want to see their gorier cut because it's just going to be like, well, we actually stabbed 8 kids. And you're like, well, I don't think that's necessary, maybe. I don't think that's actually going to make the movie better. And what I dislike is this weird culture that is struck up around this like Snyder Cut kind of thing where people always are like, no, it's like the general public just found out that there are deleted scenes.
That's what I was going to say. Is like
everyone who's ever worked in film or television knows that there are always deleted scenes.
Director's cuts.
The movie to make it tighter.
Yeah, director's cuts should have remained the purview of horrible dorks like us.
Yeah.
Just for horrible dorks like us that are just like, I heard they cut 17 minutes out of Brazil. I can't wait to watch this new cut that they just unearthed of Blade Runner. Like, it should just be like, only the worst people should know about it. The terrible people like us. But now the normies know about director's cuts.
And they think every movie, they're like, oh, that means the director didn't get their vision. And it's like, no, movies get trimmed down. Every movie gets trimmed down, and it is often to make the movie better.
Yeah.
You always overshoot so that on the editing floor, editors can make good decisions. It's not trusting anyone but the director to do their own jobs.
Right.
And that's going to be so bad.
Well,
that's incredibly toxic for the entire industry of film.
Well, because we already
editors to edit and not trust everyone to do their own separate jobs.
Because there's already too much, I think, of a cult of personality around the director, which makes a lot of sense. The director is, aside from actors, the director is sort of the face of the movie, but director is like, a good director 9 times out of 10 is like 70% project manager, which means hiring the right people and facilitating between them, which means that director is hiring not just the right actors and hasn't been just assigned to the right script, but like is hiring the right costume and art people, is hiring the right cinematographer, and is hiring the right editor to go through. There's a great channel called This Guy Edits, which I think if you're a fan of film, you should watch. He recently did an interview with, what is her name? God, she's directed so many things. or she's edited so many things, but talking about the relationship between a director and an editor and how it's like, my job is just to like take it and you don't tell me what to cut. You tell me what you want to feel in a scene and I will make you feel it.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Chris Plum in a live studio audience said, I would love to see a non-director's cut of Avatar 2.
Yo, can we listen? There was a big feature that I did not put in, but it was like very popular over the weekend. That was about all of the technology that Jimmy Cams has made for Avatar 2, and it's very interesting because it's like you think about movies like Aquaman or anything that has a lot of underwater scenes, and they shoot that what they call like day for night. They call it shooting dry for wet. So basically, your actors are on like wire rigs in front of a green screen, pretending to float like Aquaman, a Jimmy Wan film. So James Cameron was like, I want to shoot wet for wet. He built like this custom tank where he can do mocap under the tank. It's all very fascinating.
He loves to drown an actor.
He loves to drown a woman, allegedly. Now, because if you think about it, like whenever you hear about these things, you think about The Abyss. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio was like, oh no, there was a part where I had to be underwater and it was filled with water and I thought I was going to die, right? Then we got this story last year, 2 years ago, about Sigourney Weaver setting a world record for holding her breath underwater in her age group. And everybody was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then we just got another one. I think about it's Rachel Weisz, right? Who's in Avatar. I think it's Rachel Weisz who just set another for free diving, holding her breath for like Kate Winslet. Thank you. Kate Winslet just held her breath for 7 minutes during a free dive, and everybody's like, she just set a world record. This is amazing. No,
we have to stop drowning these women.
This is what you're doing, is forcing these actors into these places of uncomfortability and then spinning it as like a cool thing that you did. You can't waterboard your cast and then spin it as look how long my cast could handle torture.
I hate that.
It's so fucking weird.
Hey, Anthony, speaking of things that are too long.
Hey.
Reportedly, Twitter is playing around with the idea of long-form tweets up to 4,000 characters.
Now, let's...
Be launched in early February.
Now, let's just mention that once again, after promising no more layoffs in November, no layoff November is what Elon Musk called it. And he said there's going to be he didn't really call it that, but he should have. Alliteration's great.
Yeah.
He said there was going to be no more layoffs at Twitter. 3 more rounds of layoffs have happened since then. They are floundering like a woman in a tank during a James Cameron shoot, trying to figure out what to do with Twitter. And Serena Marie actually had the best take, which popped up immediately under it.
Always got a good take, which is, I see we've reached the turn Twitter into Facebook phase.
You tell me you don't understand what your product is without et cetera, et cetera. Why would I want to post No, Twitter is where you say, here's a thing, go look at it. Here's what I'm doing. Go look at it. If I see one 4,000 character tweet on my timeline, I am shutting down the app.
Here's what we know it's going to look like realistically is it's going to be a preview of it with a click to see more in some capacity. That probably just expands it in the same way that Facebook does right now. It's a tweet. Tweets were founded on the concept of literally, and it's called this, microblogging. Microblogging was supposed to be short thoughts posted quickly.
We've said this before. The original prompt for Twitter when you logged in was, what are you doing right now?
Yep.
What are you doing right now? What's going on right now? And that's it. You're just supposed to boop. Why would I want to read and here's the other thing is, he's going to start algorithmically putting more people who pay for Twitter Blue in front of everybody else. He's already said he's doing that. So if you pay for 8 for the $8 Twitter, they're going to surface your content more than other people. So that means I'm going to get 4,000 character screeds from the sort of people that pay Elon Musk $8 to have the I'm a friend of Elon Musk badge on their account.
Which is still so embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
But I also think there is the possibility, and I saw a couple people saying this on Twitter, which was like, it's also possible that this feature will be an exclusive to Twitter Blue thing. Which is fine. Again, I do not.
We don't want it. We don't want it.
I don't want longer tweets.
But I don't want every Musk stan
right
posting their 4,000 character screeds about how they feel about politics or finance or women or anything or media or anything. I don't want their opinion on the sandwich they had for lunch. I don't want it. 4,000 characters? Bleh. Bleh. Get out of here. Bleh. I had a dream last night.
Congratulations.
That I was, and why don't we turn this into one of those shows where I talk about my dreams? What if I talked about my dreams for like an hour?
Yeah, let's go.
Wouldn't that be cool? People love that. Have you ever I had this, and in this dream, I was chewing one of those pieces of gum that started losing its integrity.
Okay.
You know, and it was all over.
It really lost its integrity. It wasn't standing up for what it believes in. It was honestly spineless.
It was the kind of gum that would pay for Twitter Blue. But it was just coming apart. It was getting that like stringy gum stuff. And in this dream, I just couldn't get rid of the gum. I woke up, and it's the mouth guard I have to wear now for grinding my teeth. In my sleep, I was trying to remove my mouth guard because it was uncomfortable.
Oh, buddy.
I have to wear a mouth guard now.
Hey, what made you think about this?
Sometimes I hear about what Elon Musk is doing and it makes me grind my jaw.
Okay.
What else is going on in the news? Let's talk about some game stuff.
Okay, let's talk about some game stuff. A while ago, we reported on the YouTuber video game Dunkey.
We love Dunkey. Oh, I love Dunkey. I don't know how familiar you are with Dunkey's stuff.
I know Dunkey stuff.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I like Dunkey.
Cool. Neutral on Dunkey. Dunkey was launching a game publishing company, and in the video it was this back and forth where it like almost seemed like a joke, almost seemed like it wasn't. But they are publishing their first game. It is Metroidvania called Animal Well.
And it looks really good.
Yeah?
Yeah. So Dunkey did his video, his best of 2022, and started off with Animal Well. I love the idea of this. You are this little guy who's down in this well full of different animals, and you can find things. It's kind of like a Boy and His Blob, it almost reminds me of. You can find different things that will allow you to interact with the animals in different ways. So some animals won't like you when they first see you, but then like you can give them something and they'll help you interact with the environments in a way. And I think it looks really good. So like, here you go. Here at this giant altar, you find a Frisbee.
And a ghost cat.
Probably a dog, right? To chase after the Frisbee. Like a wolf dog, maybe a cat, who knows? But then you can use the Frisbee as a weapon. You can do all kinds of stuff. Cute little guy game.
So this is, again, not being developed by Dunkey. This is just being published by his publishing company.
Now, the biggest thing about Dunkey becoming a publisher is the thing that everybody talked about was a lot of his videos dunk on games. Like that's sort of his thing. Like he'll kind of review a game in like a tongue-in-cheek way. And how do you keep doing that while you're also publishing games? And I mean, it's happened before, you know. Game Grumps publishes games. They've published 2 games so far, including Dream Daddy, which love a Dream Daddy.
Yeah, Dream Daddy owns.
And the deal is, I mean, in terms of ethically and in terms of like FTC stuff, you just have to kind of distance yourself from. You have to distance your editorial from your business, and we'll see how that goes, but. Dude's got an eye for games, you know, and I think as long as you watch his stuff, knowing that you're going into something that's going to be making goofs and jokes, it's good stuff. And I don't think he's unnecessarily harsh on stuff. The Sonic community disagrees. but the Sonic community disagrees. Listen, it's the Sonic community against everyone. You know what I mean? But I'm looking forward to Animal Well. It at least looks, and here's the thing, is every time somebody like this, you know, you think about like a Game Grumps or somebody like a Donkey publishing a game, every time somebody does this, if they're doing it with good business sense and their heart in the right place, it can be a very good thing, because there are millions of people who are going to see Animal Well that never would have seen Animal Well. And that's the job of a publisher, right?
Agreed.
That's what you want. So as long as, you know, they're helping to facilitate, I think that's great. I love every time we see more indie stuff get a spotlight. I love it. Speaking of which, things getting in the spotlight here, more and more people have been using that. Have you heard of Steam? Steam.
They're the ones who make the deck.
Yes, they are the ones who make the deck. Steam recently reached 10 million concurrent in-game players for the first time. That means 10 million people weren't just logged into Steam. They were all playing games. 32 million people were logged in. That's
wild.
Huge. That's huge. If you're wondering why Valve only makes games as advertisements for their hardware these days, that's why. I wouldn't do anything either anymore.
No, that's very fair. You don't got to do anything. Let other people make the games.
If I sat down and money came in, I would continue sitting, simply. I would simply continue to sit. And perhaps order a sandwich.
Valve is just ordering sandwiches.
That is, I want to see what these numbers are. So if you want to know what these millions of people were playing, the number one played game on that day was Counter-Strike with 1.08 concurrent. 1.08 million concurrent, sitting behind Counter-Strike, Dota 2, Goose Goose Duck, which I don't know, but sounds like something I would like.
Goose Goose Duck is not something you would like.
No.
Goose Goose Duck is the clone of Among Us, where you are geese and ducks instead.
Oh, so these are the people that don't want to pay for Among Us.
It's blowing the fuck up. It's actually surpassed the downloads, I believe. I don't think it's going to be of all time, but like on like a monthly or something downloads.
Whoops. Don't buy clones. PUBG Battlegrounds is, PUBG.
Yeah.
And Apex Legends.
Yeah.
Surprisingly enough. Huh.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Because you think about it, like, what else is going to be on there? Minecraft, you're not playing it from Steam. Fortnite, you're not playing it from Steam.
But even if you're logged into Steam and have the overlay on, so if it's in your Steam library and you're in game, that counts. It's not just multiplayer stuff. So
no, I'm saying neither of those games are on Steam.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Neither Fortnite nor Minecraft, which are going to be two massive pieces of it. So
that's so interesting. I want to know what the numbers are compared to an Xbox Live or a PlayStation, which obviously they're not going to give out. They're just going to tell you how many people are on Xbox Live.
Right.
They're never going to say how many are active or whatever.
No.
And even Steam didn't release these numbers. It took Steam Spy to release these numbers. It came out in a tweet that was like, hey, congratulations, Steam, to 10 million concurrent in-game.
That's funny.
Which I'm sure Steam loved. Steam loves Steam Spy. Steam loves Steam Spy. Game developers love Steam Spy.
All good.
It's wonderful. But in all honesty, Steam, if you would just release numbers, people wouldn't have to do this.
A lot of people are like, hey, but what are they playing? It should be Vampire Survivors. But if you don't want to play Vampire Survivors on Steam, there's have you played the mobile version yet, Anthony?
No, but I assume it's like the same.
I saw my brother-in-law play it. Looked great.
Yeah. It works. I imagine
it's free on mobile.
and I would imagine it would work perfectly because all you need is just to move around. So we mentioned that the developer put this out for free on mobile, and we were like, "Wow, what a cool thing to do!" Big interview with the developer said, "Man, we went around trying to find a mobile publisher for this game, and they were like, They were just telling us all the cool ways we could monetize it more on mobile. Now they sell Vampire Survivor for, if you want it with the DLC, you can get it for $3.
Yeah.
They're not interested in hearing about how you can nickel and dime people on Vampire Survivor. So the developer was like, so everybody kept saying that and we didn't want to do it. But then we also knew that the clones were coming.
Yeah. So they needed to get it out and they needed to make it free.
So we just put it out ourselves for free. We just wanted to make sure that it's always going to be free and that clones didn't beat us to the mobile market.
That's so good.
That's so good.
Ooh, people are saying great things about the mobile version, that it rotates, that it's excellent.
Oh, it rotates.
Fun.
Like
That's
like a fancy sushi restaurant.
It's much like a fancy sushi restaurant in a few ways. Name them, Anthony.
Number one, it rotates. Number two, a lot of the enemies and things that you will eat come out of the water. Number three, sometimes you dress up fancy to go do it.
That's correct. Anyways, I love that. This dev team is so thoughtful about this game. And I also know that, like, it's not something every dev team can do. It's a high bar to set, but damn, they look really good doing it.
And Alonzo says, this is very interesting. The only ads are after you end a run, after you lose a run, you can watch an ad to get a free revive, or watch an ad to get extra bonus money from your run.
I love an optional ad.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. I'll watch them every time. Absolutely the fuck I will.
Put it up in front of me.
In between, I'll press it, set my phone down, do something else. I love an optional ad.
You put an ad up in front of me when I don't expect it, I'm gonna get so mad at you.
Delete the app.
I'm gonna delete your app. You say, hey buddy, would you like to watch an ad? It would support us. And maybe I'll give you a little something.
Oh, of course.
Of course, I'll watch 9 ads.
Of course I will.
I'd love to watch 17 ads.
Please give me the ads.
Listen, I have ADHD, and if you tell me something needs to be done,
I can't do it.
I can't. I just can't do it. Come on.
It's not an option.
It's not something I can do. But if you say, hey, I need this help, well, immediately I forget everything I was doing and do the help instead. Whoops. What was I supposed to do?
What would you have me do?
What would you have me do? The things I need to get done to manage my own life?
There's an ad I gotta watch.
Somebody asked me to help them with something. I can't remember what that stuff is.
Someone in my real life may have also asked me to help with something, but right now Vampire Survivors needs me.
Yeah, that's the trouble. That's the trouble, is Vampire Survivor is stickier than you.
Honestly, thank goodness.
Thank goodness.
I don't like being sticky.
I don't like sand.
Of course. Anyways, in other Anthony game news.
Yes.
Dwarf Fortress.
Anthony game news. Dwarf Fortress is 500,000 strong just on Steam alone.
Well, then all of you might need this. This is the Dwarf Fortress therapy mod.
A test version for Dwarf Therapist is there. Oh, they could use it in my mine because I'm working them to death.
Yeah, so this is useful in many ways. Now,
Free employee health center, I'm working you to death. Have you ever fallen for that one?
Yes. So it is a dedicated second window to help you find, sort, and manage huge piles of information from inside Dwarf Fortress. It's to help you assign labors. It's not quite done yet, but it will let you do that right now. It'll let you sort through, understand, and manage your dwarves' status far faster than the core game. Its sortable views include stuff like attributes, personalities, happiness, and how long the dwarves have lived in the fort, and more.
Oh my... Listen... In real life, if you show me a Gantt chart, I'll flip a table and jump out a window. You can't, I'll do a Bruce Willis in Die Hard. You can't make me look at organization.
Frika said, I do need a therapist after killing all these dwarf children. I'm not okay.
But in Dwarf Fortress?
Anthony.
In Dwarf Fortress? I love the look of this chart. Look at that. I can see all of the dwarves right in front of me at once. You don't understand what it takes to flip through all these dwarves. see what they're good at, what they want to do, what they're currently assigned to, figure out who's best for what. Listen, sometimes I've got 18 fishermen and no stonecutters, but one of those fishermen shows an interest in stone cutting. I need to know that as a dwarf manager.
Hey, Dagger thinks you might be spending a little too much time on Dwarf Fortress. Maybe you should pay attention to your son.
Hey, you have no proficiency in stone cutting.
Dagger thinks maybe you should pay more attention to him and less to Dwarf Fortress.
Sorry. My dog is simply not as sticky as Dwarf Fortress.
Why is he kind of cuddly?
Producer Dagger is being cuddly right now because it is winter and he gets seasonal affective disorder. And I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. If it's cold or it's gray or it's rainy, he wants to be cuddly.
He's really just kind of letting me do this.
Yeah. Well, also, he thinks you're his girlfriend. So that makes sense.
I love you, Dagger.
He genuinely believes that you are in a committed relationship.
He was digging on the ground next to me.
Yeah.
Just burying his face in my rug.
Just showing you that he's around. Just like, oh, look at me.
Making nice little distracting noises while we do the show.
Do you know what other game is back and back big, baby?
What is it?
Pokemons Go.
Is it back big for everyone, or is it just back big for you, Anthony?
Fun fact. I don't know what the objective reality is.
But I don't know anyone else talking about Pokemon Go, like, newly.
Let me tell you something, though. Pokemon Go. We've got Pokemon Go Fest coming up next month in Vegas. The big Pokemon Go event. Trainers from around the world.
Let's survey the BBs.
Yeah, sure.
Have any of you recently gotten back into Pokemon Go?
I thought it shut down. I haven't stopped going.
Okay.
I don't talk about it, but I'm still playing it. I choose not to see any no's. Now,
Pokemon No.
it's coming back, baby. If you haven't touched it since 2016, genuinely, it's a completely different animal now. There's so much to do. There's so much to do now. But anyway, Pokemon Go just announced that Kecleon is coming. And it's going to be released. The only shiny version is going to be at Pokemon Go Fest in Vegas.
Big news.
Big news. What are you doing February 17th?
Not this. I'm not.
What's it going to take? What's it going to take to go to the worst place to get a fake chameleon with me?
So much money.
They hinted that the chameleon was coming. I told you about this yesterday. I went to spin a stop and it wouldn't spin. And it's like, there's something that's stopping you from spinning. And I tried it a couple more times and I was like, wait a minute, what? And I tapped and there was a little chameleon on the stop that was holding on with his little sticky paws. Listen, I got hit by a truck and I didn't walk for like 3 months and I had COVID before that. And now I've got a rehab and the only thing that keeps me sane while I'm on these really long walks is the Pokemon.
And I love that for you. Why is the theme of all the games you like in the last few minutes sticky?
Sticky. Well, sticky was the first term that came to mind because it is like an ADHD term, and then I saw your reaction and the audience reaction, and so now I'm just continuing to use it.
Stop saying sticky.
Yeah, because it's getting a weird reaction from everyone, so I'm doing it. Anyway, Pokemon Go is back. But you know who else is back?
Who else is back?
MISSMIKKAA.
Oh?
MISSMIKKAA, you may remember as the person who can beat Dark Souls under any conditions. Beat it with a fishing controller. Beat it with a dance pad. Beat it with a fox. Beat it on some rocks. We're blocking it, unfortunately.
It's just what it is. Don't worry about it.
Can I just do this?
If you must.
I lied. Here. There we go. She is playing 2 different instances of Elden Ring right now. one with a dance pad and one with a regular controller, trying to beat Millennia in 2 instances at once.
That's wild. That's incredibly impressive.
Number one, just the dance pad alone. How? Number two, 2 times at once?
That's wild.
This is wild as hell. Apparently took her 100, the rules were she had to beat at the same time, same battle with both. Took her 199 tries, which is like the average it takes somebody to beat Millennia anyway. It's wild. And she's streaming at the same time.
Yeah.
So she is like talking to the audience somewhat.
There, she did it. That's incredible. And the rule was it had to be on the same run.
Yeah.
So that's big. That's fucking an incredibly high goal. Wow. That's very impressive. Very cool.
I just I'm so uncoordinated.
I'm not good at Dance Dance Revolution. Are you?
I'm okay at DDR because it's
I
not.
suck at it.
Really? You actually know how to dance. This is like, I remember when all of these games were super popular, like your DDRs and your rock bands.
Uh-huh.
Real dancers and real musicians
Couldn't do it.
had such a problem with it because it doesn't work the way you expect it to. Like DDR doesn't care if you're moving to the beat or whatever. DDR is
It
just
doesn't.
like how quickly to the beat or the melody. It kind of matches it a little bit, but when you get to like the double hards or whatever,
It's slightly off. It's very confusing to my brain and it simply can't compute. I have too many years of dance training to like ignore the actual rhythm. I can't do it.
If you play Rock Band with a bunch of musicians, watch them all run to be the person on drums. Because drums
reasonable.
work the right way.
Yeah.
Sort of the right way. Everybody is just like, I will not get on a guitar.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
My friend used to, with like Rock Band or like any of those games or Guitar Hero, would just hold his mic up and then hold his hand up to his ear so he could hear himself better and wouldn't sing the words. He would just look for the frequency that the Xbox was looking for.
Miserable.
He got it perfect every time. And it was so obnoxious.
If you can do it once as a party trick, and honestly, for like a quarter of the song, and then if you continue, I'm never speaking to you again.
It's like the annoying version of the Wii bowling, like I'm just sitting on the couch doing this and I'm getting strikes every time.
Yeah, 100%. But it's like everyone else is getting up and bowling and they're doing it, and you're like, fuck you, get up here.
And it's like, nope, strike.
Get wrecked. Absolutely not. Get up and play this.
Get up and play.
CES, while we were speaking about Vegas, there was also CES this week.
There was CES last week, and the biggest thing that there are 2 things that I'm hearing about the most. The first is this new home automation protocol called Matter. Everybody's talking about Matter, which is supposedly going to finally make smart home stuff work. I have smart home stuff at my apartment right now, and it's like, just install Python and this module and this plugin and write conditional statements and learn how to code. Just learn to code. All you have to do to make sure that your lights turn on if it's rainy and dark out is learn to code.
Yeah.
Why not just do it? So apparently Matter is supposed to help all that stuff. We'll see whether it does. But I don't know, as much as everybody's talking about that, that's like one of those weird conceptual things that like, what is it? I can't sink my teeth into that. What was at CES? And everybody said 100-inch television.
Really, everyone said TVs.
Which, of course, they did. This is LG's latest in their signature line. You may remember the last signature line was the roll-up TV. $100,000 roll-up TV.
Very cool.
This is a 97-inch 4K. It's got the newest, fanciest OLED, and it's wireless. Everything comes to the television. If you scroll down, Saige, I think they show it. That's the box. You hook everything up to that box, your game consoles, your whatevers. And it just sends everything wirelessly to that television. And
I think that's very interesting.
I love it. Now, there are a couple things.
It does look like it's a big box.
It looks like a big box, but I think when they show it,
You stash it in a cabinet.
yeah, it's small enough to like, it's small, like you can see there. That's more like the actual.
That looks still pretty big to me. That looks like a box about this big.
Yeah, it's like game console sized. It's not small, but it's not as huge as it looks in that picture. I think it's very interesting. They said the picture looked crystal clear. There was no interference. There are three things. Number one, it's called LG Signature, which means that's a $100,000 television.
They haven't set the price on it yet, I don't think, but yeah, obviously.
Every LG Signature has been like, we make five of these.
Expensive.
We make 5 of these for somebody in Dubai to put on their yacht.
So their other 97-inch TV, which is an OLED TV, is $25,000. That isn't the wireless special edition.
Yeah, that's just their regular biggest TV.
Yeah.
So that's my number one problem. My number two problem is I hear wireless and I think that's great for watching and listening. What happened with game consoles? From what I understand, they weren't showing off game consoles on it.
Right. So, like, is there going to be lag on that? Is it going to be, like, can you play a shooter realistically on that?
Yeah. Number 3 is it's a proprietary wireless protocol, obviously, because it's sending a lot of data, which means, like, what happens when LG decides they're done with that? Will there be an open version of this protocol? Probably not.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's so thin and it's 97 inches and like, I don't know. My TV is, I think, not even a 70. And I still feel like I have a very large television.
Yeah.
You know?
I have a 60-inch, I think. And it feels
It's a big
like
TV.
a big TV.
Yeah, and I mean that's the other thing. Alonzo brings up something interesting. What frequency is it transmitting on? Is it going to screw up other wireless stuff in your house? Who knows? Who knows? If you have $100,000 for a television, they're thinking that you don't care how expensive the answer to those questions are.
Because by then you'll have a new television. By the time it could be obsolete or something like that.
Or
they'll
they'll
some other new fancy television.
Or they'll say like, oh, it may interfere with wireless, but if you upgrade every single thing in your house to this, it won't. And they're like, cool, just do it. Hire a guy. Because if the games just sent me money, I would simply sit back and let somebody install my television. The other thing is something that we talked about last week. You were very excited about this. And I was like, I think it's very cool. I need to see more. This is the Lenovo Yoga that is just 2 screens. The
Lenovo Yoga sounds like a cryptid. The Lenovo Yoga?
Lenovo Yoga.
The Lenovo Yoga.
Like a Baba Yaga.
Right.
Like a witch that lives in it looks like a house with the feet of a laptop and the arms of a Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Anyway, Dave 2D got a hold of it. He was not at CES, but he is one of those people where they'll send him products like this to test. He says that he got it on some pre-release firmware, so it's a little not as smooth as it's going to be, but he said it's still extremely smooth.
Yeah, you see it glitching when it's trying to figure out what direction you've got it.
So the big deal is here, like obviously because it's Lenovo, it folds up, but it also folds into stand mode where you can see both sides of it if you want, or you can watch a movie. But the other big thing is if you fold it out like this, and a little later into the video, he gets into it. He shows the special stand that comes with it. And that to me sold the ding dang thing.
Yeah.
So it comes with this stand, which is also like a flat case, but it folds up with magnets.
So fucking good.
To support, so it comes with you wherever you go.
So you just pop in your keyboard and you've got 2 monitors on the go.
Yep.
And as somebody, like, if you edit anything that you do, God, that's so good.
And that folds flat, and then magnetic to the front. Now that's the keyboard that they had on the old model. When you stick it on, it also has magnets, lets the computer know that a physical keyboard is connected, turns the bottom into a touchpad.
Oh my God.
So you can bring that keyboard with you anywhere. I love that.
This is incredible.
It also, if you don't want to carry that stuff around, it will give you an on-screen keyboard. I don't like typing on on-screen keyboards for too long.
Same, but in a pinch?
In a pinch.
Very cool.
I think this is a very good form factor. 13 inches, you know, some people are saying they love it. Some people are saying it seems too small.
13 inches is what my laptop is. Existing.
Yeah, this guy that I run the show off of is 13 inches. And it is, I can unplug it from power for a moment.
Yeah.
It's just 13 inches. It's a little, this is also a Lenovo. It's the flip. So it does the same thing that this one does, where it flips, so I can watch it in stand mode. And I honestly find that for most mobile stuff, truly mobile stuff, this laptop does great. And that laptop should do pretty well. He said that he cannot benchmark it right now because it's on an unreleased chipset.
That makes sense.
So he can't say, but he did say that for daily driver stuff for most people, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now,
there's no information on here about the pricing yet. Unfortunately, I'm very curious to see what that's going to come in at.
Yeah. Let's see. Because if we can find what the last model was, we can sort of extrapolate from there. But
the Yoga 9i was starting at $1,600.
yeah, it's not one of their cheaper ones.
But also, comparatively, for a laptop, when you consider like the comparison of Apple, it's coming in about the same.
Yeah, I bought my Surface Book. I bought the Surface Book 2 in 2017 and it was $2,200, and I used it for 5 years, and it had everything I wanted for it. But I still use it a lot. I just don't. If I'm going on a trip and I need to do real stuff on a laptop, that's what I bring. Yeah. Even though it's getting a little old. But I think for most people, this is going to be more than enough. And it really is, you are paying for the form factor, obviously, and the technology they put into it. But they also say like the current Lenovo Yoga is considered like a gaming ultrabook. Like you can play some games on it. So it should be enough for like even light video editing.
I want it.
It's a very futuristic form factor. I always dreamed of having the computer book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like the folding phone and stuff like that, I get why it's cool.
But functionally, it's not for me.
Yeah, I just, we have a Spider Josh has the new Razor that has like the cool flip screen.
And I've got two friends that have the one that folds out like a wallet.
I think it's dope, but like I don't really see much of a point in it. Whereas with this, I totally understand it.
I see the point in it being made and existing to test and further the technology, and I think it's very cool for that reason.
Yeah, it's cool early adopter shit.
I have it right now, but like it's very impressive. Now this is something that makes me go like, yeah, no, I want this one.
They say he shows that it also works with like the stylus, and it has like, basically every Windows with pen now has like a Wacom stylus in it. So you can use bottom screen for drawing, top screen for reference, just to watch something while you draw. Like I think, obviously having two screens is not revolutionary, but the way this works is pretty revolutionary.
But picture this. You're sitting at your D&D game. Your character sheet, your notes. Each has a little monitor in front of you.
Each has a little monitor.
Flat down on the table in front of you still, so it's not disruptive like a laptop sitting in front of you, blocking you from your other players. It's laid out on the table in front of you.
Yeah. Laid out flat. I love that. I love that. It's great I love the experience of having like two screens. I nearly bought, you remember that Microsoft phone that was like a little book?
Yep.
I looked into that real hard because I was like, it's just a little book.
It's just a little book.
You could read things on it. You could do stuff on it. Turned out to not be it. I think this might be it. If you want, if you've always dreamed of the little computer book, this might be it. Spa day.
Just came up in my Twitter feed.
Spa day.
It's from the account Cats Being Weird Little Guys.
It's a good account.
It's a good cat.
It's a good cat, good account. In other stuff. Hey, I don't need to make a smooth segue
you sure
all the
don't.
time.
What's up, Anthony?
What's up? You know that arcane game, REDFALL, that's coming?
Yeah.
We've been talking about this. This is the vampire game. Mm-hmm. This is the open world 4-player hunt the vampires game.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Everybody was like, man, that looks a lot like Left 4 Dead. Mm-hmm. I can't wait. I miss Left 4 Dead, mm-hmm. you know, and Back 4 Blood's out, but people are like, the more things that are like Left 4 Dead, the better.
Yeah. REDFALL isn't one of them.
REDFALL, now, according to Arcane, there was a big interview with Arcane, and they said that, honestly, as much as it looks like it's Left 4 Dead, it's more like a Far Cry with multiplayer.
Very interesting.
So Harvey Smith and Ricardo Barre were talking about it, and they were saying, like, look, unlike Left 4 Dead, this is an open world. Mm-hmm. This is a persistent open world. You can run off anywhere you want to go. You can do anything you want to do. There are quest givers. There are people all around. There's a hub world. There's a hub village or whatever, a hub encampment. Mm-hmm. You can get story missions from there, or you can not. You can just run off, and you can all four run off in completely different directions if you want to. And I think that's very interesting.
That was because previously I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I'm into vampires. I'm interested because of vampires. But as somebody who like enjoyed Left 4 Dead at the time, but Back 4 Blood wasn't something I reached for, I was like, I'm not super excited. This got me.
The aesthetic of it
run
really
around with 3 other friends and do vampire slaying.
Yeah, the aesthetic of it really got me. The tone of it really got me. But the other thing is, like, I mean, it's honestly the arcane of it all, right? We're talking about Harvey Smith, who's been doing it since Deus Ex. Uh-huh. And when he says you can do whatever you want in this game, arcane means it. Like, you think about things like Deathloop or Dishonored. Mm-hmm. And what I find interesting is, you know, in Deathloop and Dishonored, you are given kind of open slices of worlds. Mm-hmm. You know, in Dishonored, you're in the Clockwork Manor, you're in the streets, but it's a slice. Mm. This is do whatever you want, arcane style.
Yeah. In
a fully open environment.
Right.
And that's what's interesting to me. So I'm very excited for this.
Very exciting. While we're talking about Left 4 Dead, actually, a lot of people probably already know this, but Left 4 Dead initially was created off of a Counter-Strike map. It was originally going to be Counter-Strike Condition 0 mm-hmm. Under the contract for Valve. And they were trying to develop a map for Counter-Strike, and instead they made a whole new game. They were working on this little like game mode for it, and they were like, ooh, that's kind of fun. Maybe
yeah.
It's a whole thing. And the actual map that Left 4 Dead was based on leaked.
Oh, this is the Terror Strike map.
Yeah.
This is the map for Counter-Strike that turned into Left 4 Dead.
It created the Horde mode and the way that they acted for Left 4 Dead. And it's very interesting to see it before it's zombies.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny
weird that it's just guys.
Because they're like moving like zombies and when they get near you, but it's like just Counter-Strike.
Isn't that funny? And you can see them like adjusting it slowly, it becoming zombie-y, but they're like zombie soldiers. That's
fascinating.
Yeah.
It's fun to see stuff like this leak. There was another leak this morning that was very interesting. Let me see if I can find it. So we got the 2001 version of Duke Nukem Forever that leaked.
Also, someone asked, what was the game we were just talking about? The vampire one that was REDFALL.
The 2001 version of Duke Nukem Forever leaked that build, but this morning, screenshots from the 1998 version of Duke Nukem released. And let me see. Somebody says that they are probably going to, they're basically saying they're going to dump it, which means they're going to release the original 1998 Duke Nukem Forever online.
You gonna play it?
I don't know. I didn't play the 2001 one. I'm not a Duke Nukem person.
Yeah.
But I find this stuff fascinating just for like the gaming history and preservation of it. Like so much of this stuff stays secret. And I'm very excited. Like it seems like more and more gaming studios and publishers are starting to think of games the way like movie studios think of movies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, we can show what this almost was. It's been 20 years.
Right.
Like we should show it off. I'll see if I can find those screenshots, but they're floating around.
In the meantime, we will continue the news because the news stops for no leak, Anthony. The news simply cannot be stopped. And that news is about Squishmallows. Much like me trying to get my hands on a Squishmallow, nothing can be stopped. That didn't make any sense. Nothing can stop them, me. I've completely lost my analogy.
In November, we were told about Pokemon Squishmallows, limited editions that were being released by the Pokemon Center.
And they had some of them at a convention. What con was it?
I forget. They had it at a convention, and you could order them through Walmart, but they were done through the Pokemon Center, and it was Pikachu and Gengar Squishmallows.
And I wanted the Gengar so bad.
And we were like, this can't be the only time they're releasing them. That's ridiculous. There's so much money to be made off of Pokemon Squishmallows. Don't worry.
They know.
They know. They're coming in February.
I'm so excited.
In February, everyone will be able to get a Pikachu and a Gengar. There will be a difference. The only difference is they don't have the Pokemon Center insignia on them.
That's fine. I just want to hug a Gengar so bad. And I think that a Squishmallow is the closest way to achieving the real feeling of what a Gengar would be like. Because here's the thing. They didn't choose just any Pokemon. They chose one that's perfectly shaped like a Squishmallow. I love Gengar so much.
And what I love about Pikachu as a Squishmallow is it's like, that's me. It's old school Pikachu.
It is.
It's that fat electric mouse version of Pikachu.
Precious boy. I love them so much. I love them both.
Why does that woman get to live your dream?
I don't know.
Why isn't that you?
Why isn't it me, Anthony?
Why isn't that you there in that pile of Gengars?
I love them. I want all of them. I want so many of them. So absolutely, I'll be setting an alarm. I'm going in like it's a hot drop. I'm gonna hype beast this.
You should.
I want a Gengar so fucking bad.
The Squishmallow and Pokemon Jazzwares, who makes the Squishmallows, says that don't worry, they're going to make more Squishmallow Pokemon. These are just the beginning. These are just the beginning. All we know is it comes in February.
Come on, give us a date, give us a time, give us a link, give us a pre-order. Take my money.
Please.
I beg of you. Pokemon, please, please, please. Hey, Pokemon Company, if you're watching, I don't have a lot. You can have all of it. I love Gengar so much. You know those mobile ads where they're like, I just spent my last $12 gambling on this mobile app. You should download it and check it out. Pokemon Company, take my last $12. Give me Gengar. Please. Tell me when it's coming. It's really fucked up.
It's coming. Don't worry.
They're not saying when.
They're saying February.
That's not enough.
You'll get more. Don't worry. Don't worry.
But what if it sneaks up on us?
I have a feeling it cannot sneak up on you. I have a feeling, yeah, there you go. Now Pokemon Center is subscribed to us. Hit us up, Pokemon Center. Hit us up. I feel like that's probably a good place to stop for today. I think you probably expended most of your energy. Yeah. You feeling a little better, buddy? Now that you got that out? Feeling a little better?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep
Gengar.
We'll check. We'll keep checking, okay, bud?
Yeah.
All right. Do you want a snack? Need a peanut butter and jelly?